things that God had commanded according to Exodus 20, then no, that's not.
I don't know who said that. I don't know who started that, but every person that they meet in the college, that's what the first girl says.
Yeah, because Fox News is really good. Yeah, we never said we're a pacifist religion. Islam never presented itself as a religion. It is peace for the believer. It is a horror for the disbeliever. That's what it is. We are not a religion of peace, but we are not a religion of war. Islam is not a religion of peace. It's not a religion of war. It is a religion that deals with all the inputs and outputs. And that's what it is. It is dynamic. It is reactive. We have no interest to come and contest with any of the Western Christians or Christianity as a whole in anything except which God has revealed to us and God has tested. This is from our perspective relative to Islam. The Quran is what clearly states the Jews killed him not, nor was he crucified. It appeared to them so.
Yeah, that's
or it was conflated to them so. It doesn't say that God is the reason this happened or God played some ruse.
It's demonic.
No, that is not.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
You can look up. There are several exegeses of the interpretation of this. And one of them is that the Jews conspired and made it seem that he was crucified or killed. Or they attempted to nail him.
And there's a historical consensus on this.
There is a historical based on what we know, which is not contemporary.
Soft inhale, count it in your chest. Let the shoulders fall, nothing to impress. Eyes on the point, steady as a stone. Thoughts drift past, you let them go. Bend like water, follow gravity down. Slowly breathing, roots you to the ground. Focus like a flame, still in all the sound. Bend like water, you will not break now. Notice every edge where the tension hides. Send your breath there, feel it loosen, slide. Neck like a reed, swaying in the wind. Mind like a lake, quiet from within. Bend like water, follow gravity down. Slowly breathing, roots you to the ground. Focus like a flame, still in all the sound. Bend like water, you will not break now. One thought one thought out, nothing extra, nothing loud. Just this moment, just this round of easy breathing, easy now. Been like water, follow gravity down. Slowly breathing, roots you to the ground. Focus like a flame, still in all the sound. Been like water, you are steady now. Soft inhale, count it in your chest. Let the shoulders fall, nothing to impress. Eyes on a point, steady as a stone.
Shala, this is not legal.
You let them go. Bend like water, follow gravity down.
Shala, this is not legal to the believers of Mohammed.
Slow, deep breathing roots you to the ground. Focus like a flame, still in all this sound. Bend like water, you will not break now. Notice every edge where the tension hides. Send your breath there, feel it loosen, slide. Neck like a reed, swaying in the wind. Mind like a lake, quiet from within. On a heart like water, follow gravity down. Slowly breathing, roots you to the ground. Focus like a flame, still in all this sun. And like water, you will not break now. One thought in, one thought out, nothing extra, nothing loud. Just this moment, just this round. easy breathing, easy now. And like water, follow gravity down. Slow, deep breathing roots you to the ground. Focus like a flame, still in all this sound. Dead like water, you are steady now.
Hola. This one, the ice cream, Sarah,
Inhale slowly, count it out, 1, 2, 3. Feel your ribs making room for you to be. Knees sink heavy into ground that doesn't move. Mind keeps talking, you just watch it pass on through. Bend like water, flow around, you can't hold. Follow your breathing, let it gather, let it. Inhale slowly, count it out, 1, 2, 3. Feel your ribs making room for you to be. Knees sink heavy into ground that doesn't move. Mind keeps talking, you just watch it pass on through. Bend like water, flow around, you can't hold. Follow your breathing, let it gather, let it go. Every small distraction, just a wave that rolls on through. Bend like water. Quiet room, heartbeat drum in my chest. All Every name I call myself, I forgive. Every tear that never fell, now it's shining on my skin. I am open, let the healing in. I breathe in peace, I breathe out the war inside. I breathe in strength, every tremble, every tide. I breathe in strength, let it rise above. I breathe in light, and I breathe out. One more breath, resting in the quiet now. Stronger, softer, learning how to bow to the peace, to the strength, to the joy I'm dreaming of, to this endless, wordless ocean made of love. Quiet room, heartbeat drum in my chest. All this noise fading down to breath. I feel the floor holding every step I've taken. I close my eyes, watch my worries go vacant. I breathe in peace, I breathe out more inside. I breathe in strength, every tremble, every time. I breathe in joy, let it rise above. I breathe in light, and I breathe out. Soft blue sky, even with my eyes closed. Every scar, like a map of gold. I bless the cracks where the gentle light is pouring. I bless the past for the way it keeps unfolding. I breathe in peace, I breathe out more inside. I breathe in strength, every tremble, every time. I breathe in joy, let it rise above. I breathe in light, and I breathe out. Every hurt I held too tight, every name I called myself, every tear shining on my skin. I am open. I am open. Let the healing in. I breathe in peace. I breathe out more inside. I breathe in strength. Every tremble, every time. I breathe in joy. Rise above. I breathe in love. And I breathe out. One more breath, resting in the quiet now. Stronger, softer, learning how now. To the peace, to the strength, to the joy I'm dreaming of. To this endless, wordless ocean made of love. Breathe in all the scattered pieces. Breathe out every borrowed fear. Hands open to the quiet in your chest. Let the shaken part settle here. Peace in my body, strength in my bones, joy in the spaces I once called unknown, love in the center. Breathe in all the scattered pieces. Breathe out every borrowed fear. Hands open to the quiet in your chest. Let the shaken part settle here. Peace in my body, strength in my bones, joy in the spaces I once called unknown. Love in the center, soft but so strong. I am. is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawks. By my head I invoke thee. Hey, I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. My father is dead. My mother bore me with labor and pain and fear. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By the brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reverse, the sign given of none save it be of thee. O Lord, by the Lamb and I invoke thee. 3, mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing obey that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee.
Be able to understand the material.
Mine is the sign of a porpoise and typhon. By the
Epistemological
sign I
framework,
invoke
and if that
thee.
material is in any way infiltrated.
Born is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue figure of the intimate air. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl, so run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. 5, I bear the wand of double power in the voice of the master Abrahadabra. By the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Strike, strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, crown, child and conquering Lord, Horus, avenger. By the song I invoke thee. 6, in my hand is thy sword of revenge, let it strike at thy bidding. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the fight, the voice of the fight, the voice of the 6, 11 of the voices, Abrahadabra. Strike, strike the master chord. Draw the flaming sword. Crowned child and conquering Lord, Horus, avenger. Oh, thou of the head of the whole. The I invoke, thou only begotten child of Osiris thy father, and Isis thy mother, he that was slain. She that bore thee in her womb, flying from the terror of the water. Thee I invoke. Oh, those apron is a flashing white, whiter than the forehead of the morning. The I invoke.
$50 billion wasted a scam like you.
Whose garment is of the golden glory, with the azure bars of stars.
You want that? See that Chinese guy in some part? You see that Chinese guy from Farmhouse?
And the dragons of death were as dust. Thou didst raise thine head, and the crocodile of Nile was abased before thee. For thou whose name hideth the universe with night, the impermeable blue, the I invoke. Thou who towers pinnacles of rock, abiding the hills of the often potent of the sifted bones. The I invoke. Thou bearest the wand of double power. The I invoke. Thou about whose presence is shed the darkness of blue light. The unfathomable glory of the outmost ether. The untraveled.
When you gonna?
The unthinkable immensity of space. Thou who concentrest all the 30 ethers in one darkling sphere of fire. The I invoke. Sit so thou who bearest the robes and rules of life and liberty. The I invoke. The voice of the five, the voice of the six, 11 of the voices. Strike the master chord, draw the flaming sword, crown child and conquering lord, chorus, avenger, O thou of the head of the hawk, thee I invoke.
At every thee I invoke, throughout the whole of the ritual give the sign of Apophis.
Thou only begotten child of Osiris thy father, and Isis thy mother, he that was slain, she that bore thee in her womb, flying from the terror of the
Arrest politicians.
water. Thee I invoke. Now whose upper is a flashing white, whiter than the forehead of the morning. Thee I invoke. O thou who hast formulated thy father, and made fertile thy father. Thee I invoke. O thou whose garment is of the golden glory, with the azure bars of sky. Thee I invoke. Who didst avenge the horror of death, thou the slayer of Typhon? Thou who didst lift thine arms, and the dragons of death were as dust. Thou who didst raise thine head, and the crocodile of Nile was abased before thee. I invoke. us with night, the impermeable blue.
Careful but tracking right. When are you gonna arrest politicians for breaking the law?
Who bearest the wand of double power? Thou about whose presence is shed the darkness of light, the unfathomable glory of the outmost ether, the untraveled, the unthinkable immensity of space. Thou who contents resolve the 30 ethers in one darkling sphere of fire. Thou who bearest the rose and drops of life and light.
Careful but tracking right. When are you gonna arrest politicians for breaking the law? When you're gonna arrest politicians for breaking the law? Yikes. It's no good. I called his office once. I prayed for you yesterday. Be good. Be safe. Yeah, no good. Yeah, no good.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is the tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Borrows $1.3 billion to give to Cronin. Profits the C2U is a mafia propaganda. Organization affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Open the books, transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's the black tax socialists are taxologists. All taxation is theft. Affordability is a scam. Abortion Greyhound buses are murder for profits. Open the books, transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. You sent our paychecks with a smiling mask. Go to care, go to change while you pass the hat. Your friends at the table eating out the back. We're stuck in the checkout line doing the math. You borrowed a mountain for a parking lot dream. Sign your name on the dime like it's free, free, free. We wake up to letters with the red ink screams. Every promise on paper feels cheap to me. Brandon Johnson is a tag. We're the ones who pay it back. All the bills and all the spend. Cash goes out, we're locked in. Open up the books right now. Show the numbers line by line. Transparency on
You kind of could have started his bear out for this little bit because of intelligence.
You call it for the people, but the doors stay closed. Same names on the contract. Every story we're told. You preach about affordable, then raise the toll. Whole city in a chokehold, just to feed your road. We're tired of slogans on a pretty blue sign. Want a public spending tracker in real time. Not another photo op on our dime. We're done with the fiction, this is our line. Brandon Johnson is a tag. We're the ones who pay it back. All the bills and all the spit. Cash goes out, we're locked in. Open up the books right now. Show the numbers line by line. Transparency on every track. Brandon Johnson is a tax. We want the city. Every cent, every check, every lead.
Johnson is the tag. Where no one can pay it back. All the bills and all the spin. Cash goes out, we're locked in. Open up the books right now. Show the numbers line by line. What's the truth on the giant screen? Spin the whole town sees the clash. Brandon Johnson is the tag. Brandon Johnson is the tag. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Morals wondering never to get some credit. The CTU is a mafia propaganda organization. Criminal that he is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the town. For transparency now. Expenditure now. Brandon Johnson is the snake. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's a black tax socialist, black taxologist, no taxationist, and the affordability is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is the tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Yeah, what brings Brandon Johnson criminal? The CTU is a mafia propaganda organization. Criminality is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the time. For transparency now. Expenditure now. Brandon Johnson is the scandal. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's a black tax socialist, black taxologist, no taxationist, the affordability is a Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Morals want $3 billion to give to crony doctors. The C2 is a mafia propaganda. Organization of portability is a scam. Marvin Johnson is a cop.
Transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is a scam. Transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is a scam.
Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's a black tax. Socialists are taxologists. All taxation is theft. Affordability is a scam.
Transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is a tax. Brandon Johnson is a scam. Transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is a tax. Brandon Johnson is a scam.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is the tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Borrows $1.3 billion to give to crony nonprofits. The CTU is a mafia propaganda. Organization affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the transparency. Yeah. Clever spinning tracker. Yeah. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's a black tax. Socialists are taxologists. All taxation is theft. Affordability is a Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is the tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Borrows $1.3 billion to give to crony non-profits. The C2U, some mafia propaganda. Organization affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Open the books, transparency now. Public spending tracker now. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. black slaves is a scam. It's a black tax, socialism, taxologists, all taxation is theft. Affordability is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is the tax. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a liar. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a criminal. Borrows $1.3 billion, he'll give to crony non-profits. The C2 is a mafia propaganda organization, and affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Open the books, transparency. No! Public spending tracker. No! Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Reparations for black slaves is a scam. It's a black tax socialist, the taxologist. All taxation is the propaganda is a scam. No! Public spending tracker. No! No! Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Repercussions and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his C2 mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is a scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Reports guns and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allow teens to take on the streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to get out to his chronic non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Repressions and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows thieves to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profit. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Repercussions and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Oh, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Repercussions and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his C2 mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Oh, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and criminal who lies. Repression and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Oh, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Christians and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and a CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the scam. Brandon is the scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Reverse spins and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from out of state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Borrows $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and his CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and a criminal who lies. Christians and socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from our state. Allows teens to take over streets and cause chaos. Owes $1.3 billion to give out to his crony non-profits. The FBI needs to arrest Mayor Brandon Johnson and CTU mafia propaganda. Affordability is a scam. Brandon Johnson is the tax. Brandon is the scam. Brandon is the Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is a fraud and criminal who lies. And socialism for black slaves. Free buses for abortions from
That's the true issue. They want to try to say, they want to try to say people who, are a certain way have mental health. That's a mental health issue. You ain't aligned with it and yourself.
People align themselves to be something else is because they're not happy in the inside and they're trying to fill their cup with
Hello,
something.
moderators. I would like to request 60 seconds to read a poem. Can I read a poem for 60 seconds about love?
Okay, I'm counting. 60.
Liberation. This card indicates a liberation, true and real. It is something different from what we normally mean by liberation. It is not the negation of desire nor of its consequences. Hello? 41 sufferings. Step by step, each joy condenses, hardens, becomes literally of stone. Also, these joyous impulses lesson, it is a natural law. And this is living.
We're gonna move you down to the audience. Kick him off. Kick him off. What's going on here?
That's yeah. That's a part of the spectrum that we don't want to really explore.
This dude's name is Crowley.
Mr. Crowley.
Liberation because there's different types of liberation now.
Mr. Crowley. Boom, 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 boom.
So, Alistair, if you want to share your poem with this chat, if you want to share your poem with the
Oh, this is Marcus Aurelius' Stoic Meditation.
Saying just us, the people who want to see you win and can show you the results.
Can you read the verse again, Andy? I'm sorry. Read the verse again. Then Moses and Aaron are given the Quran.
Which one you want? 3:3?
In 21:48.
It states that Allah granted Moses and Aaron the criterion, also known as the Furqan, a light and a reminder.
Is it my baby, Mariam? Oh, the Lambara. Dang, sure, Dad. My baby's home. Hey, baby. My baby's back. My baby's back. And she's ready to cause some trouble with my heart again. My baby's back. And she's gonna cause some trouble to my heart again. My baby's back. Baby's back.
Them have their back and forth, and then we can move on to a different person who has a different who has a different point or a different point of view, right? Like, why can't that be a thing? Why do we have to have popcorn where everybody just talks about what the fuck they want to talk about? Just random shit. It's boxing match last night. Oh yeah, what are we talking about? All right, I'll end. Sorry.
All right, thank you. Let's go next in the queue. It's on Cracker. Is Cracker there? Eden, is he there?
Hello?
Oh, okay, I didn't see you.
Hello?
Sorry.
No, I didn't see you. Okay. So I'm going to read a parable, okay? And this COVID is always allowed to read. I think I should be able to read, okay? And as far as the shit that happened earlier, you guys go below this.
Welcome back, Marian, to your mystical journey in Irvine, California, to your racing stallions in Mecca.
That's what the title says.
Your mystical Friday afternoon has begun. The lumber of Elite and Shoulder.
Okay, that is some ancient mystical Persian music. I have my own santur. We will go play that in a moment. But first, we are going to listen to the invocation to Thoth. And then I will bring you up, Miriam. But first, the invocation.
Invocation of Truth. Procul, o procul esti profani, all lusty, Peter. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ibis head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of dark power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of life and light, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy limbs as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force, whereof the gods are sprung, which is as light unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine only inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dust, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who accompany the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of Rome, ever advancing onwards to the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which stands in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance, wherein the cloud floats over the throne. I travel on high. I tread upon the firmament of you. I raise up flashing flame for the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on with the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountain, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tanu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is a sanctuary of truth, and a guard sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of the tower when he created his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unnatural wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, why, whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all-present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath formed thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless bodies of light. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto thee, so that every spirit of the purple and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of roaring air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God's vast one may be obedient unto thee.
Did you know you can work full-time while protecting your SSDI benefits? It's true. Contact All Self-Employment Services, an authorized Social Security Ticket to Work provider. We can help you make the most of the Ticket to Work program.
Just random shit.
The invocation of Horus. Strike, strike the master chord. Draw, draw the flaming sword. Crowned child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. O thou of the head of the hawk, thee I invoke. Thou only begotten child of Osiris thy father, and Isis thy mother, he that was slain, she that bore thee in her womb, flying from the terror of the water, thee I invoke. O thou whose apron is of flashing white, whiter than the forehead of the morning, thee I invoke. O thou who hast formulated thy father, and made fertile thy mother, thee I invoke. O thou whose garment is of golden glory, with the azure bars of sky, thee I invoke. Thou who didst avenge the horror of death, thou the slayer of Typhon, thou who didst lift thine arms, and the dragons of death were as dust, thou who didst raise thine head, and the crocodile of Nile was abased before thee, thee I invoke. O thou whose nemesis hideth the universe with night, the impermeable blue, thee I invoke. Thou who travellest in the boat of Ra, abiding at the helm of the Aftet boat, and of the Sextet boat, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. It shed the darkness of blue light, the unfathomable glory the untraveled, the unthinkable immensity of space. Thou who concentrest all the 30 ethers in one darkling sphere of fire, thee I invoke. O thou who bearest the rose and cross of life and light, thee I invoke. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 are the voices. Abracadabra. Strike the master chord. Draw the flaming sword. Crowned child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger.
I completely abandoned ChatGPT. It just keeps failing me time after time after time, and I can't.
Child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. By thy name of Ra, I invoke thee, Hawk of the sun, the glorious one. By thy name, Harmachis, youth of the brilliant morning, I invoke thee. By thy name, Mao, I invoke thee, lion of the midday sun. By thy name, Tum, hawk of the even, crimson splendor of the sunset, I invoke thee. By thy name, Kefra, I invoke thee, O beetle of the hidden mastery of midnight. By thy name, Hur-Par-Krat, Lord of silence, beautiful child that standest on the dragons of the deep, I invoke thee. By thy name of Apollo, I invoke thee, O man of strength and splendor, O poet, O father. By thy name of Phoebus, that drivest thy chariot through the heaven of Zeus, I invoke thee. By thy name of Odin, I invoke thee, O warrior of the north, O renown of the sagas. By thy name of Yahashua, O child of the flaming star, I invoke thee. By thine own, thy secret name, Uri, thee I invoke. The names are 5, the names are 6, 11 are the names. Abracadabra. Behold, I stand in the midst. Mine is the symbol of Osiris. To thee are mine eyes ever turned. Unto the splendor of Geburah, the magnificence of Chesed, the mystery of Da'ath, thither I lift up mine eyes. This have I sought, and I have sought the unity. Hear thou me. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reversed, the sign given of none, save it be of thee, O Lord. By the Laman I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing abbai that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of Apophis and Typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine also is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intimate air. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl. So run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the word of double power in the voice of the Master. Abracadabra. By the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Strike, strike the master chord. Draw, draw the flaming sword. Crowned child and conquering lord. Horus, avenger. By the song I invoke thee. In my hand is thy sword of revenge. Let it strike at thy bidding. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 other voices, abracadabra. Therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that every spirit, whether of the firmament or of the ether, of the earth or under the earth, on dry land or in the water, of whirling air or of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast one, may be thou. Abracadabra. Take a seated position. Command yourself to relax. Start rhythmic breathing. Let us ask for divine guidance at the beginning of each session. O Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, ruler of the light and the darkness, we adore thee and we invoke thee. Look thou with favor upon me, who now standeth before thee, and grant thine aid unto the highest aspirations of my soul, that I may be enabled to accomplish the great work, to the glory of thine ineffable name. Amen. You have achieved perfect relaxation. Your mind is at peace. You are now able to concentrate your thoughts, your feelings, your awareness. Imagine now that towers above you another being who represents your higher self, your holy guardian angel. See this majestic towering figure standing above you, watching over you with his light and love, protecting you, guiding you. With each breath you take, you aspire and yearn to be one with your angel. With the exhalation, this great being descends into you. You and your guardian angel are becoming one. Inhale, yearn towards your divine angel. Exhale. He descends and occupies your being. Imagine this divine being with wings that are outstretched, vibrating rapidly with spiritual power. He stands above you, benign, gracious, beatific. Inhale, long for, yearn for, and aspire towards this great being who is your self-made person. Exhale. Imagine and feel this divine spiritual figure descending, occupying your body, your mind, your soul. Inhale, and imagine that you are lifting up your